Hi guys, I'm going to show you how to do quadratic formula on your TI-84 calculator. Okay, so you're going to start off by programming a calculator to put it to look like the quadratic formula. Well, the quadratic formula looks like a really huge and complex fraction, so the very first thing you're going to want to do is make a fraction, which is alpha y equals, that's the shortcut to it, numerator, denominator, ND, and hit enter. Okay, so the top of this huge fraction starts out with negative b. So I have an example problem in front of me, okay, from a class cake assignment. I've got negative 7 as my b value. The formula says take the negative of that. So taking the negative of a negative means the 7 is going to be positive. Okay? Now, we can't do plus or minus at the same time into the calculator. And I'll get to how we'll address that in a minute. So for the time being, I'm just going to hit the plus sign. And as you can see, the fraction bar is expanding as I add things to it, because the only way to get out of the fraction is to arrow out. So the fraction will continue to expand as I add more things. So after the plus sign is the square root. All right, now here's a really critical thing that I need you to hear me on, y'all. Okay, b squared, when you see it in the formula, it doesn't have parentheses. But if b is negative, as it is here with negative 7, you have to type it in parentheses. If you don't put the parentheses around the negative 7, it will not give you the correct answer. It will square the 7, but not the negative sign. And that will mess up your whole problem. Okay, so any negative b's have to go in parentheses. All right, and then after I close the parenthesis, I can hit the square key. Minus 4 times a, which is 1 here, times c, which is negative 8. All right, and that's the end. Now I want to go to the bottom. So I just arrow down, 2 parentheses, and a was 1. Okay, and I'm going to tell you, I know that you can do 2 times 1 in your head. I'm going to tell you that we're going to reuse what we just typed. We are not going to type this over and over and over again for every single problem. So it's really important that you put that 2 parentheses 1 in the bottom, and I'll show you why in just a moment. Okay, so now I'm going to hit enter, and I get a solution that's 8. Now remember how I said that we did the plus sign after the negative b. So we have 7 plus a root. We also have to do 7 minus the root. Like I said, we are not typing all of this in again. All we're going to do is hit the second key and the enter key, and it retypes everything for us. So all we need to do is use our arrow keys. This is a little bit tedious, but it's better than retyping the whole thing. Okay, get my arrow over the plus sign and hit the subtract key. Make sure it's the subtract key and not the negative key. Okay, I do not have to arrow back to the ending again after I change that sign. I can just hit enter again from where I am, and I get my other solution. Okay, now let's say we wanted to do a whole other problem. Okay, let's say we wanted to do this problem here, x squared plus 6x plus 5 equals 0. All right, here again, we are not typing all of that in again. We're going to hit second and enter key, okay? And we're going to get all the stuff we typed in before, but we're just going to go in and put in new values for a, b, and c. So that's where leaving things in parentheses is good, okay? So this happens to have an a value of 1 again, so I can leave that in the bottom. Okay, this time the c value is a positive 5. Now, if I just type a 5 here, I still have the negative. I don't want the negative, so I'll hit the delete key. Okay, so then I can arrow back. Technically, since the b value is a positive 6, obviously I don't need the negative sign, but I technically don't need the parentheses, but I would leave them in there only because you're going to have more problems with negatives in there, and if you leave the parentheses there, you don't have to retype them when you get to another negative b. Okay, I'm going to change that subtraction sign to a plus sign because we're starting a whole new problem. Now, my b this time was a positive 6, so since the formula says negative b, I'm going to have to put in insert a negative sign. Well, just like the delete key takes away characters, you don't want the ins above it gives you extra characters. Okay, if I just type a negative key here, the cursor goes right to the plus sign and I can't put in the 6. Okay, so what I need to do is hit the ins, and let me see, do I hit the 6 first? Nope, I got it backwards. Okay, so I'll hit the negative and then the 6, and just look at it and make sure that it looks right. The negative sign and then the 6. Okay, again, I don't have to arrow all the way to the end. I can hit enter from wherever I am in the problem and it will give me my answer. Okay, ooh, -1 again. That's a coincidence. All right, now, just like before, we have the plus sign in front of the root. We need to do what would happen if it was a subtraction sign. We're not typing it all in again. All we're doing is hitting second, enter, arrowing back through the problem. Oh, too far. Hit the subtract key, hit enter, and we get our second solution. Okay, so that's how you can use your TI-84 to do your answers. Now, this will work for decimal answers only. If you're answering in radical form, then I got nothing. Okay, you can do the root part by itself, okay, and you'll have to do kind of the rest by hand. All right, but for your answers that are not going to come out in radical form, or if you're allowed to answer as a whole number or you're answering as a decimal, this calculator hack will work. Okay, have a great day. Thank you.